Well, another great evening here at PJNET as we tweet Unborn Lives Matter. And, hey, we're on a roll here, and I just want to say thank you to all of you folks that make this possible. Each one of you has a part in this. And I've already been hit up. We've been inspired tonight. You'll see a name in the chat roster that is a new name, Robin Birdie 316. Well, it so happens that I have Robin Birdie 316 right here in this studio with us, kind of, sort of, by the magic of technology. Robin, you are here for your first time. You have a featured tweet, and we just want to welcome you and let you know that your tweet is having an impact across Twitter. You're a rock star, Robin.
Wow, that's amazing.
Did you have any, when did your phone first start blowing up today?
The second I woke up this morning, I actually woke up a little late this morning because I had a late night because I've got kids, but I woke up around 9:30 and all of a sudden I turned my internet on and my phone is just blowing up, and it's just been doing that since now. If I didn't have my phone on silent, you'd probably hear a whole bunch of ringtones going off.
You're not the only one that has their phone hooked up in such a way that it notifies you with a text message every time that you're mentioned, retweeted, or otherwise. And it can drain your battery.
Yeah.
I just checked on it a moment ago. Your little tweet had gotten 94 retweets or tweets or otherwise.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Tell us about your experience on this topic.
Well, my mom had me when she was 17, and she wasn't married, and she actually, the doctor actually didn't know time her pregnancy right, and they thought I was going to have all kinds of medical problems. And her and other people in my family tried to convince her to have an abortion, which thank God she didn't, or I wouldn't be here today. And she's never been for abortion. She knew that there was nothing wrong with me, and even if there was, she wanted to give me a chance, Anyway, and so I've just been wholeheartedly, pro-life. I've never had an abortion, but I have gone through, sexual assault, things like that. I understand the mindset of people in that desperate situation. I had a kid when I was 19. I wasn't married. I understand. I kind of understand why somebody would be so desperate, but I've just had so much compassion for them. And I knew a girl, and this was really what made me really start fighting for these babies, as I knew a girl who was about 15, and she was slightly mentally retarded. So in a way, you could even say she was raped because she really couldn't give her consent.
Right.
I'm sorry if I'm going on and on.
No,
And she got pregnant, and again, she was young, and her whole family tried to convince me, because she really looked up to me, to get her to have an abortion. And I was 16 at the time, and I told them I'm not doing that. But I said, well, I would talk to her about putting the baby up for adoption. And she wanted to keep the baby. I went over to her house, and she was practicing changing diapers and all this stuff. And we sat down and talked about it. She wanted to keep this baby. And I knew she was young, but I knew in my heart God had a plan. God had a plan for her baby and for her. So I sat down, and that's what I told her whole entire family, and they all changed their minds. I said, you got to be there for her. And I was 16 talking to people old enough to be, my mom and dad and grandparents. And I simply said, God has a plan for this child. And they all just got quiet. And ever since then, I actually held that baby when the baby was born. And it was almost as amazing as holding my own children for the first time. And that's really my testimony, is I've been somebody that's been through these situations. And I just have so much compassion. I just try to fight for not only the babies, but these women who are unfortunately desperate that really society has really left them, and they think, abortion is the only option, and it's not, and I just really feel for them, and that's kind of my testimony for this in a nutshell, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, Robin. You're right. When you say that God has a plan for that baby, but you're not right because you feel that way, but you're right because of the Word of God. Are you familiar with Jeremiah 29:11?
You may have to refresh my memory, because I'm not. I know most of the Bible, I just don't know it all by heart. I'm bad at memorizing.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, and a plan to give you hope and a future. And Robin, I'm inspired because as I'm hearing your story, I'm just, and you got it out before I could even interrupt you. I was literally going to interrupt you and say what you were going to say anyway. But you were approached to persuade this 15-year-old to have an abortion. And instead, you are persuading successfully the ones who wanted you to persuade the 15-year-old and the rest of the family. God really uses, I mean, that's awesome. That's an awesome testimony.
When I told my, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, this is about you, Robin. Share your story.
I was just going to say, when I told my whole family that, they just looked at me and they were like, "You are 16 years old and you talked to a whole group family. I mean, that is so mature for you. I mean, how did, and I didn't have anybody telling me, I just did it all by myself. I didn't even tell my family they wanted me to talk her talk her into having an abortion. I just went to her house all on my own. I said, this cannot happen. You cannot do this, and then I told my family afterwards, and they just, everybody, my mom, my grandparents, they all just, their mouths dropped. When I told them, they were just like, I can't believe you're this immature, or mature, I mean. I'm a little nervous, sorry. And I just, it's been one of my favorite memories doing that. I just, I can't really explain it. It's just one of those things that I know God has called me to do.
So now you're on Twitter.
Yes, I am. I just made a Twitter, really just talking about random things, but I've been feeling like, I've noticed there are so many people on Twitter that are just very just sinful and anti-God and abortion and all this stuff, and I kind of wanted, I wanted someone different. I wanted somebody on Twitter and YouTube or whatever, all this social media in general, that wasn't like that, that wasn't showing cleavage and all this stuff. And I've just been talking about random things. Some of it's been religious, some of it's been non-religious, but I've just been doing what I thought God wanted me to do, and here I am just shocked that this is happening.
Robin, we're glad that God led you to tweet that tweet, and we're glad
Me
that
too.
God, Sunbelt Girl in our chat room, is the person that goes out and finds the tweets that we feature here. And it's affirming to know that it makes a difference, because we actually go out of our way to make sure that the original author of the tweet is credited with the tweet. We don't just take the picture and the words and hijack them. We maintain the modified tweet, MT, and mention the original author, because we do want to increase your voice, because your voice has already saved at least one life physically, and perhaps even more eternally. And Robin and I, the whole family here at PJNET just wants to applaud you and commend you and just welcome you to be
Thank
here
you.
with us anytime. You're always invited here. And hopefully next time you'll call from the computer where you can Skype in and give you a
I'll
little
set that
time
up.
to tell Grandma that you're going to be on TV.
Yeah, she's going to be so excited for me.
Robin, thank you so much. I hope you hang out with us, and you can go ahead and
Definitely.
uncheck that little speaker mute thing that we had to do before the interview, and we just appreciate all that you have done, are doing, and continue to do. God bless you, Robin.
Thank you. You too.